friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trish and today I was supposed to film a 2 looks in 1 palette just because that's kind of what I've been doing, but I kind of felt like chit-chatting with you guys, so I hope you don't mind. I'm switching it up and going to just do a chit-chat, get ready with me, using some products that I have not used yet on camera, and some of them I haven't used at all. So if that is something that interests you, just go ahead and keep watching. So to start with, I think I'm going to use this palette from MAC, and it is the Made My Fortune palette, and I actually have not used this one yet, and I've been doing a lot of Lunar New Year palettes, so I wanted to go ahead and try this one out as well, just to see what it is. So first I'm going to prime my eyes, and while I'm I just threw it on the floor. Okay, we're off to a great start. While I'm priming my eyes, let me go ahead and tell you, I guess, just a little bit about myself. So I am 40 and I'm a mom of 4 kids and 3 dogs and 8 cats. Now the dog number does change depending on which videos you watch of mine, because my eldest son just moved out and he took his dog with him, so that that number does change. But the cats, usually the number just increases because we have a neighborhood where cats get dropped off outside. People just drop their pets in this neighborhood. It is so weird, and usually if the cat is friendly, we will take the cat in. Very much so cat people here. Dogs, not so much, but cats we will definitely take in. So, okay, now that I've primed my eyes, let's pause there. I'm going to go in with this lighter shade here and just use a fluffy brush on that one. And I'm holding up this palette if you see it, but I'm not using it. I'm just using the mirror in it. But let's see here. Anyway, so that is my menagerie, or my circus as I like to call it, that is currently in my house. We also, my husband and I, own our own business, and it is a 3D printing business that we use resin or filament on, and I will probably pop up a picture of like the printers that we use. It is a home-based business. We've had the business now for 4 years. 4 years in June, actually, and it's very, very interesting. Now, I am not much of a messing with resin type person. I'm just not. So the part of the business that I usually do is like the marketing part, or the books part, or the shipping, basically paperwork part of it. And my husband is the one that's the creative designer, if you will, of it, and does all that type of work. But we've now had it for almost 4 years in June, and I gotta say, if you've ever thought about starting your own business, it's just a great way to, especially if you have kids, show them how to be self-sufficient, but also it's just a great way to be your own boss and let your creative mind go, if you will. You can do so much more. You don't have to really ask anybody. Just be like, okay, I want to change this today, and change it. It's your business. You do what you want with it. But probably more on that later. I don't know about that. But let's see here. Let's go for this purpley color, and we're going to use a smaller crease brush for that one. the purpley one. But yes, we do own our own business. So like in my project pans, or you see some weird eyeshadow, I don't always have to leave the house every day, and I usually don't. So there's a lot of leeway with what I want to wear, or, you know, makeup styles, or my 80s makeup look, but I didn't leave the house that day, which is fine. I mean, I'd wear it out in public, but I didn't leave the house that day. Let me use this to blend that out. It's kind of pigmented. And there's a train going by, of course. I don't know if this microphone picks it up or not, but... So yeah, we live in a very, very small town of 3,000 people inside the city's limits. So, so there's not a lot to say or do here. People here are very open-minded, if you will. So even if I did go out to like the cafe up the road, or, you know, the hardware store or something, they're used to seeing green eyeshadow on me. So it's not that big of a deal. But, and that's a little bit about me. And my kids, like I said, one of them just moved out of the house. Still adjusting to that. If you guys have had kids move out, let me know how you adjusted to that one. But I have 14-year-old twins that I homeschool, and I have a 16, almost 17-year-old that goes to the public school here. Now, I have nothing against public schools. That is not why I homeschool. I actually, just in October, we put the girls back into a public school, and it only lasted a week before we pulled them out again. So it's not that I have anything against the public school system or the teaching or anything like that. It is mostly because our public schools, I do live in a small town here, and my daughters are in 8th grade and they are learning algebra, and that is just not something that they offer at an 8th grade level in a small town. They're taking anatomy this year, again, not something that they offer at an 8th grade level. But we wanted to try it out and see, and the girls wanted to see if perhaps, you know, there was a different way to learn it, or, you know, their pre-algebra class was going to be up to par. It lasted a week before we were like, we learned that 2 years ago. So, of course, I withdraw them from the very powdery palette. But, of course, I withdraw them from the public school again, and here we are back where we were, stage 1, with me back to homeschooling the girls, which I don't mind. It's I homeschooling the girls is a good thing. Will we homeschool through high school? Probably, even though I do have a son that is in high school, at the public high school here. He actually enjoys the like extracurriculars that the high school has, and the high school has a lot more opportunities than the middle schools do. But having said that, the girls do want to graduate when they are 16, so we are going to be doing a homeschool program where they can graduate when they're 16, and then yeah, so I'm going to have some kids graduate from public schools and some kids graduate from homeschool, and I'm okay with that. I have, like I said, nothing against the homeschool system. And I think I want to do a little bit of this purple right here on the lid, and I am going to spray it. I've been really liking this, like the spraying the shimmers before I put it on the eyes. I think it gives them a lot more oomph, if you will, than most others. So let me go ahead and put this on the lid. Or maybe not enough oomph. Maybe I'll just do a finger. We'll try a finger. But I started my YouTube channel. Oh, yes, finger is the way to go with this if you have this palette. I started my YouTube channel because my husband actually encouraged me to. He's like, you always watch makeup videos and you like makeup, so why don't you start one? Well, I did start one, and I have to say it's actually quite fun. He got me the camera that I'm using for Christmas, and I'm enjoying doing it. So that is why I started my YouTube channel. And I have to say, if you have a partner that is very it is very supportive of you, that is always a good thing. When my husband wanted to start the business, I was the first one to tell him to go for it. You know, when I wanted to start this, he was the first one that was like, you know, you really should. So having a supportive partner is 100% helpful in any endeavor you do. And I like it. I like this palette. I think it's very, very pretty. The shimmer is definitely better with a finger. So, but that is a little bit about me, and I'm probably going to do another Get Ready With Me talking about the business because I love talking about it. Not the specifics. We made that mistake, and I might go into some of the mistakes we made when starting our business in that one, but not going to do that now. But right now I did go ahead and finish what I wanted to do for my eye makeup look today. So I will be right back, and let me get my base makeup on. Okay, so I did go ahead and prime my face with the DHC Velvet Skin Coat. I really do like this. I say this all the time, but I used to use the No Pore Bloom primer, and I really liked it that one, but it doesn't seem to fill in pores as much as the DHC. So I'm really glad I have that one. But this is my new concealer that I've been using. I only keep one concealer in my collection. While I have a lot of lipsticks and eyeshadows and blushes and everything else, concealers is not something that excites me, so I do not keep a lot of concealers in my collection. If you guys noticed, for a while I was only using the NARS because that was the only one in my collection. Now this Shiseido self-refreshing Synchro Skin self-refreshing concealer is the only one in my collection. I love it. I mean, it works really, really well with the powders. I like it more than the NARS, but I don't know that I would repurchase this one just because I'm still looking for that perfect, you know, concealer, and I haven't found one that I actually want to repurchase. I thought it was going to end up being the NARS that I would want to repurchase, but after trying the Synchro Skin, I like it just a little bit more. It's just not what I want to repurchase. Does that make sense? Probably not. Okay, so for my foundation, I'm using this white Grape Fresh Up foundation from Skin Food. I got this off YesStyle when I did my YesStyle order. I have only used this once, so it is very new to me, and it is in the shade 21. It is an airless pump system, so when you hold it up to the light, it like there's the gap down here, not at the top, if that makes sense. But I'm going to use like a pump and a half of that and go ahead and put it on. I like this foundation. It's really pretty, but the one I recently tried, the Caridium Main Actress Foundation, I like a lot more, even though they have the same look and the same finish and everything else, because this one is so heavily fragranced. Like, I feel like I'm putting perfume on my face right now, and it doesn't dissipate. It actually stays on there. It smells like perfume. Like, my husband will walk up to me to give me a kiss and be like, put perfume up a little high today, didn't you? So it is heavily fragranced. However, it looks so pretty, and fragrance in general doesn't cause me to break out. In my foundation review, I mentioned that I do not have sensitive skin at all, and I really don't have sensitive skin, and I don't usually have to deal with breakouts, so it's not, that part doesn't bother me, but let me tell you, the smell, that bothers me. So I don't know if I will be able to use this one up, but if you have the Carradine Main Actors, this white grape is a lot more runnier and lightweight, but they have the same finish, exact same finish. Just this one doesn't have fragrance and this one does. So just want to throw that out there in case you were wondering. So I'm going to set my whole face with my Essence Mattifying. I live in the South and I have said numerous times that this is my go-to for the summertime. This powder works really well in humidity. And you guys are like, okay, it's February, why is it summertime? Again, it's the South. It's supposed to be 60 today. And yes, I'm in a hoodie in 60-degree weather because that's cold to me. But it's supposed to be 60 today. And I already need the mattifying powder because you go outside and you spend too long outside and you start sweating. But my house is always cold, so there's that. All right, and then my under eye... Oh, sorry, got a hair on my nose. My under eye setting powder is always my Beauty Bakery Flower Powder. I don't know if it'll still be up, but Boxy Charm has a makeup pop-up going on right now that has this flower thing for $5, the Beauty Bakery Flower Powder, and I love this stuff. I have a backup or I'd get another one, but it works really, really well for under eye setting powder. Setting your whole face, it gives it a slightly glowy finish, which I don't like except in the wintertime here. So I do use that for underneath my eyes at all times and then using it to set my face in the wintertime. So let's see here. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do blush that is in my project pan? Oh, since you guys are here, let me go ahead and show you up close what this foundation looks like. It just looks pretty, right? Like on the skin, it just looks like pretty. It looks like skin, so I do like that. Just don't like the smell because I can still smell it. You would think it would, once it dries down, you wouldn't smell it anymore, which is the way most foundations are that are fragranced, but this one, man, this one here is very fragranted. So what else can I tell you guys about me? Let's see here. Well, there's not really much more to tell unless I start talking about the business, which I don't want to do in this Get Ready With Me. I think I'm probably going to do that in a later Get Ready With Me, but so let's go back to the makeup, shall we? Because that's what you're here for anyway. Let's do... Let's do this one here. This is the Christmas in Rome. It was part of the Too Faced holiday set, and I'm going to do the Christmas cannoli right here. And I'm going to use my e.l.f. I actually have two e.l.f. brushes. One I use for powder. The other one, surprisingly, I use for blush and bronzer. It works for both, so I'm not picky. I just kind of wipe my brush off in between, and if it gets a little bit more red up there, it still looks pretty. It's not a huge deal. So, and I always take it up my hairline. I think it gives my face a really nice shape to do so. I don't know why, I just think it does. So it's very pretty. I do like this palette, but I like the ones that come in the set a little bit more, like the eyeshadows, but this part of this face palette is really pretty. I use the Jingle Bellini one a lot when I'm doing orange or yellow looks because it's a more orange blush. And then for my bronzer, I'm just going to use my Project Pan Flower Heat Wave Bronzer, and I'm going to use the same blush same brush I used with my blush, and just tap it on just like so. Make it look like I got sun, because you know It's too cold to go outside. 60 degrees and then it's too cold to go outside. Man, I'm spoiled. Okay. And there's that. Give it just a little bit of a glow. Okay, so for the eyes, guys, I have really been loving, and I don't know if you guys do it, but I have really been loving just putting a like black eyeliner or a colored eyeliner in my lower waterline and then smoking it out a little bit and not putting any eyeshadow down there. So I don't know if you guys do that, but I do that, but I can't talk while I do that, so I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm going to take this angled brush just because I can, and I'm going to line a little bit of the top of my eye with the eyeliner that I was using. Again, you're not going to see this, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, so that's what that looks like. I've really been liking this look, especially once I curl and put my mascara on. I am also a fan of like lining underneath my eyes with eyeshadow. It gives it a more softer look, but on the days that I want to be a little bit more dramatic with my eyes, just the black eyeliner under the eyes is definitely the way to go. And I'm just putting on the Better Than Sex Mascara after I curl my eyelashes. You guys, if you haven't heard me say this before, let me just say this now. I am not picky about my mascara. Although it sounds like I am when I talk about mascara. I have very long eyelashes to start with. I know. Y'all are gonna hate me for that, but that's just the way it is. I have long eyelashes to start with. But because I have long eyelashes, I have a problem with mascaras smearing up here if they're lengthening and they're not a good formula. So I have to use like a lot of good mascaras that would normally smear on the, like, I guess average consumer, smear on me because my eyelashes are long and they touch where my eyelids get oily. So this is my current, not favorite, but the one I'm using. It does smear, but not as bad as some of the other ones that I use. And I do use tubing mascaras occasionally just because I don't want to deal with it or I'm not going to be around a mirror. But it does smear occasionally and it will get up there. But for now, I mean, it works. I'm not sweating and I'm not outside overly much. So, I mean, I'm going to use up the sample size that I have of it, but this would not be a repurchase. If you guys want to know a good one, the Tarte Lash Paint. It's beautiful on, and let me tell you something, it does not smear. That does not budge, and it's not a tubing mascara, so the tubing mascara is not for you. That's the way to go. Okay, so I have this look on, and I kind of want to use, my husband got this for me for Valentine's Day. It's the Besame Marilyn Monroe. Look at this. It's the Besame Marilyn Monroe in Carnation Red. Look at that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tap it on because I actually enjoy doing that. But first I'm going to line my lips. So give me a second. Let me line my lips. Okay, so this is my lips lined, and I use the Essence Stay 8 Hour Lip Liner in Yumi and Ship. And then let's put on this Marilyn Monroe lipstick. And there's this color. It is just stunning. I love this color. It is in Carnation Red, and I don't know where he got this for me. I've been seeing that people find these in TJ Maxx. I don't know. I don't think he got it at TJ Maxx because he's not a frequenter of there. But if you can find this carnation red, it is beautiful. It is more of a pinky red than it is like an orange or a blue based, but it's gorgeous. So this is my final look, and I hope you enjoyed this chit chat get ready with me, and I will probably be doing another one of these just because right now my kids all are working, so I do have a little bit of quiet time at the house. So I'm going to make use of it and make talking videos. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.